Hi, my name is Shay and I make weekly videos about autism. Today we're going to talk about different types of stims. So if you've always wanted to know about autistic stimming, stay right here. Autism-Philes begins right now. Hello and welcome to another episode of Autism-Philes. What exactly is stimming and why do people on the autism spectrum do it? Stimming is short for self-stimulatory behavior. It's done either to self-regulate, that is to help provide more sensory input, or distract from unpleasant stimuli, or sometimes just for enjoyment. As has already been mentioned on other channels, everyone stims to a certain extent. If you're bored or impatient and you find yourself drumming your fingers, that's a stim. The difference is that people with autism stim a lot more. Also, our stims tend to be more noticeable and are sometimes less socially acceptable. If you're drumming your fingers, probably no one will bat an eye. The classic hand flapping stim, however, when autistic kids get excited, the hand flapping, that will likely get you a few disapproving looks, at the very least, especially if you're an adult. There are several different types of stims. The one you're probably most familiar with, especially if you're not autistic yourself, is the tactile stim. These are stims that activate the sense of touch and feel good to the autistic person. Examples that I do are rubbing my forearm, touching my face, especially after I shave. Like I shave today, so just rubbing my hand against my face feels good. I like that. Chewing the inside of my mouth, that's sucking and or gently biting on whatever this part of your hand is called. I'll do this sometimes. This is actually an old stim that I used to do when I was a kid that I kind of rediscovered. One thing about stims is that they change over time. So stims that you did as a kid, you maybe don't do anymore. And then stims that you do today as an adult, you maybe didn't do as a kid. So let's see, that one, chewing my nails, chewing on pens and pencils. I used to do that really bad as a kid. Pen caps, pencils, erasers, I would chew on those things so bad. Occasionally, stims from this category can cause harm. And if that's the case, they need to be redirected. If it's not harmful though, please allow the autistic child or adult to engage in these stims. Auditory stims involve repetitively listening to or producing pleasant sounds. Examples might be listening to the same song over and over, snapping your fingers, even if you're not listening to music, doing something like this, or this, tapping your fingers as we talked about at the beginning of the video, humming or singing to yourself, or any other of numerous ways you might make sounds. Verbal stims are repeating the same words or noises. This one obviously overlaps a bit with the auditory stims. Part of it can be hearing the noises, but the other part can be producing them. Sometimes we like the sensation in our throats of producing certain sounds. For example, here's one I make sometimes. Woo, woo, woo. I find I do this mostly when I think of something really cringy. So it's almost like a woo-woo alarm, like, no, don't think of that, don't go there. We're not like that anymore, we're better. That last one I never do while anyone else is around, because obviously that would tend to raise a lot of eyebrows. People would be like, did you just make that sound? Why? To finish off this example, like the young man in the TV show Atypical, a lot of us repeat certain words or phrases to get them out of our heads. I do this myself at times. Visual stimming involves looking at repetitive motions for prolonged periods of time. So for example, staring at screensavers. For those of you who are old enough to remember it, I used to stare at the pipes screensaver. Anybody remember that one? Some autistic people like to stare at ceiling fans. I've done that. Some of us may like watching the same part of a movie or a TV show repeatedly. So those can be some examples of visual stims. Stims that activate taste and smell can overlap with the tactile ones. Sucking your thumb, for example, or this thing I demonstrated earlier, can sometimes be done because we like the taste as much as the sensation. I once knew an autistic boy who did this, where he was like, smelling his finger, smelling his cuticles. I will sometimes do it like this, especially when I'm driving for some reason. Those are some examples of taste and smell type of stims. Vestibular stims have to do with spinning in circles. Spinning in spinny chairs like this one, or the classic autistic rocking. Proprioceptive stims have to do with a person's understanding of where they are and what their body is doing. Examples of these are things like pacing, which I do quite a bit, jumping up and down, dancing, or throwing items. For example, sometimes I enjoy throwing things up in the air, like this orange right here, and catching it. Well, that's all I have to say about stimming. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it gave you a good idea of what stimming is and the different kinds of stims autistic people might do. And remember, unless it's harmful to self or others, please allow us to engage in our stims. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I'm an Autism-Phile, and I hope you are too. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.